my childhood that was originally recorded back in the 1950s, called Give the World a Smile by the statesman pianist Jackie Marshall. Now here's a trivia question for somebody to answer and tell me, and I've asked some people and they don't know. And that was, who was the bass player that played that bass line on that classic original cut from back in the 50s? Give the World a Smile. And I'll give somebody a piece of candy if they'll tell me who that is. I'm here today in Sweet Home, Alabama. Alright, enough of that. But anyhow, at my mom and dad's house for Christmas time here, and this bass is what I wanted to kind of talk to you about today. My nephew Will bought this bass when he was down in Auburn at school, and he played it for a little while. He's more of a guitar player, but I wanted to kind of highlight a bass like this. We look for the fanciest, newest basses, and there's some basses I'd love to have and things like that, but I want to kind of highlight some things that maybe you can find, especially with places like Reverb and Craigslist and eBay and things like that. A bass like this. This is about a 70s or early 80s Epiphone bass, okay? It's hollow body, like a Gibson ES335 guitar would be, or an old Chet Atkins Gretch and things of that nature. And it's got humbucker pickups, and it's got flat wound strings on it. We put some flat wounds on it a while back when Will left it here at my parents' house for my dad to play, because my dad taught me how to play. But this bass is a really good option, or a bass like this, a Gibson or an Epiphone or a Gretch, or some of those brand names that have a bass, a Hollowbody bass like this, for somebody who's looking for an upright tone. Maybe you play bluegrass, but you can't afford, or you can't haul around a big bluegrass upright bass, you know. This type of bass is a good option for that. It's kind of retro looking, but it's got electronics and pickups so you can plug it in, turn it up and turn it down. But it can give you that good kind of low end thud. Let me turn it up a little bit here, crank the bass a little bit. That'll rattle some windows. Now, you know me, I mute with my fretting hand, my left hand. But this bass has a cool option. Zoom in right here, camera person. You might want to come in farther. This bridge has a little spring-loaded lever that you can flip up, and it has a little rubber mat that will operate as a mute for your strings, and you can adjust the amount of muting, and you can kind of squeeze a little bit more, and it'll give it that kind of muted sound instead of it ringing out. Now that hollow body, it reverberates, and so it adds to the sustain. I'm not cutting that note off, it's still going. And this is not a very expensive bass. This type bass you could probably find on Reverb or Craigslist or something for a few $100. So as an option, I just want to put that in your mind. Be looking for something like this if you want to plug in. Another great feature of this bass is how thin the neck is. The neck is super thin. That is about the size of a jazz bass, maybe even a little bit smaller than a jazz bass profile on that neck. It's got a flat portion on the back of that neck. Like I said, the humbucker pickups, you can switch them. Anyways, great little bass. It's not mine, it's my nephew Will's, but I may have to borrow it sometime when he's not around. So check that out for a good option. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is this coolest thing. From my childhood, my dad taught me how to play bass. I still play the 69P bass at church that he started us on, and this was the amp. Okay, so let me back up and you kind of zoom in here. Coming on this amp. This is about a 1968-69 Kustom 150 2-channel bass amp that my dad bought new. It's that tuck and roll silver glitter vinyl covering, and this was the amp that I used to sit on and sit in front of and play till I got in my late teens when I bought my first amp on my own. but this is still a fantastic amp, and it will blast the windows out of the house. It's still got some volume. It's a little noisy. Like right now, I've just got the bass turned up. If you turn up the treble, it's going to give you a little hiss. But that was just part of it back in the day. Had a bright switch. I always kept that on. But anyhow, great old amp that my dad still has, and I'm not letting him sell it, so don't ask. He's talked about it one time. So here's the deal today. Just consider, depending on your style, what bass would work if you don't have a big budget. And I want to submit that this is a good option. So check out old Gibson or old Epiphone or old Gretch Hollowbody basses for that big old bass sound. You would be surprised how many LA and Nashville and New York session players that play pop music and rap music and every other kind of music play an old bass like this for that big round fundamental. That's as good a tone as you're going to hear on anything. So check these kind of basses out and look at that as a good low-cost option. Okay, we'll be putting out some other things here coming up very, very soon. If you've got questions, you can contact us through our Instagram, Basstime Online, here through our YouTube channel, Basstime Online, or you can reach us through our Facebook page, Adam N. Angel Borden. You can look us up that way as well. Get in touch with us. Thanks so much. And if you'd like lessons, give me a call. We're doing private lessons still, and we're going to be putting out some lesson videos as well. But we'd love to start off 2019 and make you a better bass player for yourself, for your church. All right? Talk to you soon.